As this room fill up, be sure to hit the like, share this content, let that friend or that neighbor know where to go when it's time to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. Mama said there'll be days just like this. And you already know, when I don't go early, sooner, I've been busy. I've been working hard. All right, so we are about almost through with most of the graphics and everything. But shout out to everyone, man, that's tuning in to these type of conversations. Jerry Jones, slow feet. Yeah, they say slow feet don't eat. But it's slow philosophy. You're going to pay more. Come on. We're going to talk about this one way or another. Be sure on your way in to hit the like, share this content. Let that friend or that neighbor know where to go when it's time to tune in.
Ready? Run from it. Destiny arrives all the same.
All the same.
What should I say? What more do you want me?
Give me a one in the chat. Give me a one in the chat. Get the audio straight. Come on.
Making come closer than close. Yeah. 5, 4,
3, 2, and 1. Come on. Come on, baby. Cat Williams.
You having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you.
Hush your mouth, Cat. Hush your mouth, man. Come on. Hey, yo. Come on. Riggs. All right. Appreciate everybody, man, for tuning in. If you are new to this channel, my name is Law Nation. We talk Cowboys football and beyond. Today it was a slow start, but I got some things for you guys. And shout out to Jane Slater. Yesterday she knocked it out of the park. We got a chance to hear Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, and on top of that, Mike McCarthy. We heard breaking news earlier today. Mike McCarthy getting his agents together for his final year of his contract. He's trying to figure things out. On top of that, this dude named the Sun God over there in Detroit land just got his bag, just got his paper. And it's crazy big, right? So all we can think of is this right here.
We next. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
We next.
We next.
We on deck. If you like baseball, we on deck.
We on deck, man. We next, man. But I hope we are. But the longer you wait, the more you what? The longer you wait, the more you what? Can y'all put that down in the chat? Because that's just what it is. So sources tells Ian Rappaport, who was the first one to report this, that a deal is on the table and it's signed. Pretty much he gets a 4-year deal of $120 million, $77 million guaranteed. To think that my guy, I think his name is Michael Gallup, only got about 17 to maybe almost $20 million less than guaranteed money than this dude, right? But that's how the Cowboys been dialing up their contracts, right? They say slow feet don't eat. But in the reverse end of it, when you slow like this, other teams get a chance to jump in. Other teams get a situation and scenario to do their things, right? And it muddies the water and it drives up the price. That's just how it goes. The only way that you can get in front of this, if you believe in your player ultimately that you drafted, right? And you draft that said, or you not draft that player, but you pay that said player early. That's the only way. There's no ifs, ands, and buts around it. Ain't this right, Katrina? Appreciate you, Rev. Thank you for jumping in, Sadiq. So when we think of all of these things, tomorrow, We'll be going over every line for line, every draft pick, and we'll be doing it at Shakerton's. And then we got someone else that's going to join the party, and her name is Jazz from BLS. Y'all already know the name, Biatches Love Sports. Every time I say that, I don't want to offend any of the ladies right there. But that's the name of her podcast. We'll be at 1409 North Collins Street, and that's in Arlington, Texas, 76011. And the reservation, if you want to save a table or what have you, 682-248-3545. And I'm telling you, there will be other draft parties. There will be other draft grooves and stuff and things of that nature. But I'm going to just tell y'all.
Nobody.
Hey, we're going to be live in the flesh, in the physical form. Let it be known we troublesome,
They
baby.
can come closer than close.
Yeah. The food going to be busting.
Original they never will be.
The AC gonna be humming. Yeah. And the drinks gonna get you right. So come on down to Shaker 10s and let's not have a good time. Let's have a great time. Come on with it, man. Let's go, baby. So let's talk about this whole conversational piece as we segue over back to Jane Ashley Slater.
Jane.
Jane Slater, NFL Network. Trust me, I get budgeting. I've been working on it over the years. But my job is to explain to fans, friends, and family who don't understand when you've got these three free agents, particularly Dak. We've seen in the past, I don't think us covering this team, we're surprised that a deal hasn't gotten done. And typically they don't get done until training camp. But why not work on those deals earlier so that you have the flexibility to go get those veterans that have led to success in the last two postseasons?
Your problem is
all right, hold on, old man. Hold on. Change coming. Hey, but I'm going to say this before we get anything further. K-Dot said, F the big three is just me. I think that's what Jerry Wayne and Son is saying. F the big three, it's just us two, It's just Jerry Jones. It's just him. It's on me, baby. And basically, you got to look at it from this perspective. Like, did we heard of records being broken from Michael Parsons? Just put a yes or no in the chat. Did we hear of records being broken from Michael Parsons? And did you hear records being broken from C. Dangerous Lamb? Yeah. You heard records being broken from him, right? And then, of course, I get it with the whole mindset and the philosophy of people wanting to move on from Dak Prescott. But you heard records being broken from all three of those guys. And if you were in any shape, form, or fashion wanting to get in front of that, you're supposed to pay that early instead of late. Here's my example. Here's my example of it all. If you wanted the discount rate for Dak Prescott, you had to jump in 10 toes before Jalen Hurts got his bag, before Burrows or before Herbert and before all of those boys, right? But now that you waited, you're going to have to pay the piper, basically. You're going to have to pay the creme de la creme. And the same storyline for your mind. And I don't know how much I can say this, but I'm going to say this again. The same storyline for him, right? That price is not going to go lower. And you can't come out here and say, well, hey, CD, since you're playing for this silver and blue, not for that silver and blue, you should take less. You should take less than Amon-Ra St. Brown. You know what I'm saying? The sun god. You should take less. Because you got the silver and blue and the star on the side of your helmet. Look, the Lions, they won a playoff game. Yeah, they made it all the way up there and they lost. And there have been some games that even this brother, he disappeared in a few games. But you don't hear a whisper of any of his inefficiencies, any of his drops, any of his delayed movements, any of his, hey, what happened in that moment type of situation to really contextualize everything. To me, he's a good wide receiver, but he ain't no CD Lamb, right? And you don't hear the sullying and denigrations even from their own fan base of St. Brown, but you hear it from See dangerous lamb. That's the craziest thing of it all. Yeah. But that's just what it is. CD clears him. Well, yeah, he does. So let's get back to Jane, Slater, and Jerry and them.
Well, I'm answering your question, but you don't have many problems. I really, you're excellent. But the point is that you may be working on it and not moving anything but your eyebrows. Who in the world would think that we're not working on it? I work on it. It pops open at 2 a.m. sometimes. What your actually question is why don't you have something done and negotiated and put in the drawer? Well, we'd like to see some more leaves fall. We'd like to see some more action.
Yeah. So he said he'd like to see some more leaves fall. Oh, my gosh.
Sacrifice.
What you were thinking? That it was going to be like St. Brown, they're going to pay him $30 million guaranteed? You think that the price is going to turn around? It's equivalent to anybody who's been in the DFW. And you say, okay, I'm waiting for the housing market to fall. I got land on the moon for sale. You know, it's not going to happen. Yeah. It's not going to happen. So if you got your pre-approved letter and it's saying this amount and you looking at this side of the city, I encourage you, to go ahead and dive in it because it's not going to get lower. Now I'm going to wait around just a little bit later, and see if that price in Frisco is going to drop. No, it's going up. It's going skyrocketing up. In the NFL, since Jerry Jones stated, and we was talking about this last night on the Final Word, salute to the OC and my guy, Boss Cowboys Sports, who will be with us tomorrow as well, going over the draft thing. We were talking about this. It's going to rise. It's going to go up. It's the nature. And the best way to get in front of it is pay it early. That's the best way.
It's called option. A lot of guys need to hand it off. First guy through the line. Another one will keep it another step, decide whether to pitch it or not. He'll decide whether to turn upfield with it, and then he's still got a pitch left. So it's called option quarterback. That's working the problem.
You can't play option quarterback without the offensive line. You see, he tried to slide that analogy in there, and it don't work. Because here, even if you use the credit card situation, or we buying on credit, I don't know about you all, but I'm going to tell you, every last one of you all, that if you owe some money on your credit card, and at the end of the year, you owe a lot of money on that credit card. Yeah, you owe a lot of money. And then all of a sudden, you get one of these right here. You get one of these right here. Oh, they going to increase my limit to $30 million? They going to waive some stuff? Oh, my goodness. So you mean to tell me that I can navigate and circumvent some of these things if I know that for sure that this particular NFL cycle increases my spending limit every year and I don't even have to touch it? Man, I would love to have a credit card like that. Who in the chat would love to have all of a sudden you get $30 million more? I can't make this stuff up. $30 million, and across the league, of course, get the $30 million. It's just not privy to you. But that's why the credit card thing is a flawed statement, because at the end of the day, even for those who watch this beloved sport and got a chance to see the pandemic and live through it, we still had revenue. Meaning that everybody else was shutting down their businesses, shutting it down, closing down, laying off folks, right? Firing people, telling people that, hey, now you can work from home. You don't have to come into the building. Everybody else suffered a loss. The NBA had to go into bubble leagues and stuff like that. But the NFL, oh my goodness, the NFL, they opened up that check and realized that they, even in the midst of famine, they still was able to pour upon and get remunerations of blessings of revenue. They are damn near recession-proof business. I can't make this stuff up. So at the end of the day, if you knew that, then why not, when everything and everyone is looking at it as chaos, that would be the time to stand tall and say, you know what, Lamb, I got you. Oh, my goodness, Dak. Oh, wow, you throwing all of those INTs? Hey, I tell you what, I got a bag and I got some money longer than Shaq's feet. Waive that trade clause. I got you. You know, you got the leverage now. If anything, man, you had the extreme leverage over Dak Prescott when he tied the league in INTs with a broken thumb. You could have really, even with Michael Parsons, you can call him up and tell him, hey, I like what you're doing, but these are my concerns that's wearing razor blade thin. I don't like X, Y, and Z things you're doing, but we're going to go ahead and get in early before Joshua Allen, the brother that's down there in Jacksonville, get paid. I'm quite sure he would have said, you know what? Damn, they love me over here. They don't like me. Yeah, I'll sign. Yeah, I'll sign. And we'll throw in this and that for you. Come on with it. They don't think they are not proactive. They retroactive.
That's working the problem. I've spent my life being an option quarterback, and I can go right out to the damn sideline and still leave a pitch in me. So I can do that, and that's just a style that you have. And so you never know. You might give money to somebody that you shouldn't have given it to.
Yeah.
You got 2 or 3 of those names around here for me? I've been reading about them all week. So I know they're out there. I shouldn't have handed it off as quick. Should have gone on out and seen a few more. See some more defense before I either pitched it or kept it. So to say that you're not working on it and going is not the right answer. What they differ with you is your style. Because it's on your mind. It'd be madness not to know that the contracts are ahead. I want to see a few more cards played, candidly. If you got trouble with when the timing is around here, it's because I'm not ready to go.
And you don't.
She finna bust him now. You finna bust it wide open, and I tell her bring it back. You finna bust it wide open. Bust it. Buzz it. Come on, watch how she buzz it. Watch she buzz it.
Worry about those numbers going up as a result of other teams paying some of these players at their positions.
I worry about you. If you're asking me, do I worry about things going up? Not worry, but I probably have as good a feel as anybody living on this earth what the cap is going to be 3 years from now and 4 years from now, 5 years from now.
Oh my God, man.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap. No bullshit, bro.
Oh my gosh. Boy, this is aging bad for him like bananas on top of the refrigerator, man. God, dog, I just bought them bananas yesterday, man. They aging real bad, bro. Come on, man. Hey, Jerry, I normally don't say this, man, because I don't want to get hit with a senior citizen, offense or anything like that. But no offense to the senior citizen. But won't you lean forward just a little bit right there? Come on, man.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
I really do. we've got exceptional insight into where the cap is going to be.
Oh, really?
More so than a lot of people.
Oh, really? Tell me more lies, you know? Shout out to my dog, Def King in the house, man. Appreciate you, man. Oh, my goodness. Chipped, what's good with you, man? Oh, my goodness, man. Jerry is that, you know how you say, man, he's long in the tooth. Don't give him an apple. That tooth coming up out of there, man. Jerry is long in the tooth with this, man. It's sad, man. All we can do right now, man, is laugh and keep from crying right now. It's a crying shame.
Jane, I can assure you, if we felt like we could get a number that was a good number, because unfortunately these, as we all know, representatives talk to each other. You don't think the representatives of Jefferson and CD and Chase aren't talking? And you don't think they got their eye on something really big?
Speculations. This is a game, boy, I would love to be in, though. Hey, at the end of the day, I would love to be in this, man. Billionaires versus millionaires, right? I love to be in this game. Hey, well, my ad block dropped up. At least somebody can block something. Yeah, billionaires versus millionaires. It's a good game to be in, baby. And at the end of the day, these boys got generational wealth, generational money, if they can play this right. But to throw out the fact and the notion that these agents talk to one another, yeah, I would do the same. I know you guys would do the same as well. Lawyers talk to lawyers. Judges talk to judges, right? But this is a situation that, of course, these millionaires should find the weak spot on the billionaires. Let me know if I'm lying. I know you guys would do the same. And one of the things that you don't want to do, regardless of the situation and scenario, ladies and gentlemen, is try to represent yourself when you paying somebody on retainer, when you got a lawyer. Right? So yes, you have a right to remain silent. Yeah, I'm using all of those things. Anything you say will be used against you, you know? Lawyer. I'm lawyering up all day. And look, hey man, you should talk to the authorities. Yeah, but they ain't on my side. The good cop, bad cop ain't gonna work with me. The good Jerry, the bad Steven, no. It's not gonna work on me. Nah, lawyer. And that's what Lamb should be doing. That's what Prescott should be doing. And excuse me, that is what Micah Parsons should be doing. These guys was doing these contracts before they was born, right? Yeah, I'm a lawyer, you know. I'm talking to my attorney right now. I got the whole office right there. Yeah. You want to talk to me? Yeah, I got you. Come on down to my neck of the woods. So that none of that, in the words of my guy Boss Cowboy Sports would say, none of that wee-woo stuff would go in there. But some of y'all, First 48, y'all that people that they fool around and they pull you over after this and happened right here. Yeah, this is how it is.
FBI, open up!
First 48. And then they hand you the box of chicken, whatever, and it's a cool drink. Yeah, it was Law Nation. Yeah, the man with the beard. Y'all snitching right off the jump, man. It wasn't even 48 hours, man. It was like 2 minutes. Some of y'all just like that, and that's what y'all want the players to do, man. Nah. Hey, attorney, you know, First 48. Let's get it, baby. That dude got a real good voice, too, on First 48. I need to do some of those
Please.
things.
I mean, they're not ready to come in here. Same thing with Micah. And same thing with Dak. I mean, it's just it's a little cat and mouse. Total respect for him.
of that then, if you know what some of those big numbers might be?
Well, you don't know what those big numbers might be. And as I said, if you really,
That's why you got to jump in first. That's why you got to jump in first, baby. That's why you got to jump in first. The Cowboys are so slow-footed with it that they allow others to set the market. These contracts, when they so outlandish, sometimes we would be sitting back here minding our days, eating our oodles and noodles, chilling, just relaxing. And these contracts, when the news break, when it be like one of these things right here, we don't sit back like, oh wow, it literally. What? Khalil Mack guy? What? Y'all remember that? That's how it be. We were sitting back chilling, minding our own business. We were all sitting back to ourselves, eating our oodles and noodles. Some of y'all eating some prime rib or prime whatever, and you're drinking your water out of a glass. Wait a minute, Deshaun Watson got what? Ain't no way. Ain't none of us saw that and we're like, hey, that's a straight face, No, when these contracts come out, man, they all be grand breaking news. And since that time, every player that's proceeded after those boys done either caught up with those contracts and was able to either surpass those contracts. It is always like that. So in order to get from that, I'm not saying that the Cowboys should scoop up contracts like that. Is that the only way that you can get in front of that, ladies and gentlemen, if you go ahead and not sell it, not denigrate, not beat up, not smear campaign, is to go up there and say, hey, D-Law, we like your services here. We gonna go ahead and pay you X, Y, and Z. Now, we all agreed on D-Law's first contract. We was like, hey, prove it to us again, because he was a troubled guy, right? He had a PED thing. He kept getting hurt. But when they drafted Taco Charlton, see, they don't draft to compliment. They draft to replace. They didn't go get a big boy. They went and got Tacos to replace D-Law. And D-Law turned it up. Never looked back. And then they still was like, yeah. But what really hurt the Cowboys were they franchise tag D-Law twice. All you had to do was say, hey, we still feel skittish about your productivity. We still feel kind of worried. We have our reservations. And we're going to put a trade offer out there. We looking for a first and a second, or we looking for X, Y, and Z, a second and a third, whatever. But you don't cut your legs off from under you and then out here telling everybody, mama, uncle, cousin, Tupac, and Biggie, hey, D-Law, we'd like to pay you, but you ain't no Von Miller. You ain't a Khalil Mack. You ain't X, Y, and Z. You don't beat the dude up. Hell, you prove it. You just say, hey, man, hey, your services was really good with us, but we think that we can get something better. And since we live through the draft, we're shopping you, D-Law. And truth be said, a third of y'all would have felt a whole lot better if the Cowboys would have went on ahead and moved on. And I like Law. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Laws. And the same conversation is even with your quarterback now. We got two teams with two examples who did the same thing. Jerry Goff, they went and signed and paid him early. Carson Wentz, they went and signed and paid him early or what have you, or when it was time to get paid or what have you. And when those services were not up to the likings, they got something back in return. But by the Cowboys holding on, we might as well say, I'll keep holding on. They held on to Dak Prescott so long that everybody had their own interpretations of Dak. And they said, hey, if you're going to pay this man $40 million, he got to win the Super Bowl. We're going to go as far as Dak Prescott. When they were struggling, talking about, hey, they don't want to pay Dak Prescott, the Colts was like, hey, Jerry, we'll pay him. What you want from him, you know? Oh, man, we want to hold on to Jerry. Oh, Jerry, we want to hold on to Dak now. No. You done already let this man get beat up. From the 3-ladder, from the 4-ladder network, they were all talking about, hey, Dak is this, Dak is that. The nation itself of the Cowboys is great divided, just like the ice cream. Just like the ice cream. It's great divide. And if you contextualize Dak first 9 years comparable to a Drew Brees, same thing. Same exact thing. Well, Dak going into his 9th season now, you know. Same numbers, same results and everything. If you compile, and I know people going to throw some knives at me and shank me with the butter knife and say, Dak ain't no Peyton Manning. Damn near got the same resume. And we all know that Peyton Manning didn't have a Jason Garrett here. You know? I digress. But there was other teams at that time said, hey, we'll give you a first. We'll give you 2 firsts. We'll give you a second. We'll pay that 30. We'll pay the 35. Oh, man, I think we will hold on to our precious now and still beat them up. I can't make this stuff up. Let's get back to Jerry on this comment right here.
Gut feel was, if Jerry's gut feel was that was a good number, then you would do it.
You're say get ahead of it as though you knew the answer. And one reason you're not doing it is you may not have the answer. You may really need to see if there's more cap room. You might need to see if you're going to get somebody else signed.
Wait a minute. Hold on, dog. You said you already know the cap room for the future. He said that he already know the future. So you don't have to wait for anything else. Come on, man.
Get your up there, contain the damn ball.
Come on, you talking about football stuff. Come on.
Get your up there, contain the damn ball.
Come on with it, man.
Are you really right then? Might not even have the money under the cap, of course. So I guess what I'm trying to say is it's timing. Timing is obviously as important as the principal amount.
I love it. Everything contradicts itself. Let me see how you guys feel with that. He said you may not have the cap room. We were all under the agreements that if you touch Trayvon Diggs' contract, you can get it anywhere between $15 to $25 million. Just Trayvon Diggs, he's already signed. If you go ahead and move with my guy, CeeDee Lamb, instead of this 5th-year option stuff, that you can also get up under the cap for another 9 to right around $20 million, right? And of course, Parsons, we all said, even with Parsons, you can do it now, or you can just let him go ahead and play into his next season, right? It's no extreme rush on Parsons because you got the option year, what have you, and he still got to play out this year. We were all saying that since he's available and ready to get paid, it's better to be in front of it because of the fact that this kid already, he's generational talent. We can talk about playoffs. He played 4 playoff games with only 1 sack, but that's also an indictment on the defensive coordinator, not on him, because you're not using him right. That's all what we've been saying, right? It's the equivalent to saying that, hey, why Shaq is not getting the numbers and the production and the productivity on the perimeter, on the edge, when he's supposed to be playing down low. You can't have Shaq and expect him to shoot threes, right? Because you're playing him out of spots, out of position. You can't have Steph Curry say, hey, put him down low in the post. No, that's not where he eat, right? You got to know how to use the weapon that you got. But that's a whole nother conversation. You had wiggle room there, so you don't have to worry about the money. Law, do you have any truth to this? Shout out to you, Nate Davies. Appreciate you. Law, do you have any truth to this? I hate to give them praises, and I hate to give them credit. But credit is credit is. Look at the Eagles. Look at those birds. If they want to, they can get from under Jalen Hurts. There's no trade clause in his contract. Why? Because they said, okay, we're going to jump in and the price is going to be the price. We're not going to finagle and go back and forth and say, hey, he's only throwing and completing 63%. That's below average. They knew for sure if you put and keep a team around him, at least they get a chance. If they keep a wide receiver on one side and a wide receiver on another, they would at least get a chance. They didn't say, okay, let's break it down. Let's get rid of A.J. Brown. Let's see if we can put the extra pressure on Smitty to do it by himself. And let's just go ahead and franchise tag the tight end because we still got to see something out of Dallas Goedert and see whether or not he can stay healthy for a complete year and see if he can do it for us again. So it's all about those type of things. Oh, Jalen do have a no trade clause? Well, hey, I was wrong on that part. But what did they do? They paid him a whole lot earlier. So at the end of the day, what they didn't do is waited for those other boys to get paid, right? And that could be Nicole on how she negotiate the contracts. But I guarantee you, if they want to, they'll figure out ways to get out of it. Appreciate you, Sean. Thank you for jumping in. Leon, appreciate you for jumping in. Chip, thank you for being part of the nation, baby. So those are the realities of it. Before we go a little bit further into this, shout out to Prize Picks. You can be in the mix just like them. Kyle Beckham Boost got a situation here, and I want to opt in. Yeah, you can do that too with Prize Picks. All you have to do is download Prize Pick, use promo code LAW, and you can get a boost on your selections that you pick. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, 100% of your first deposit match up to $100 will be available to you when you download Prize Picks. Two things you can do. You can use promo code LAW, or you can use my guy promo code Action. Yeah, come on, shout out to you, Action. Come on with it, man. Hey, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Let's, for right now, Wednesday is always my early days, but what I want to do here is also get a chance to play the audio from today. 105.3 The Fan did a great job of calling Jane in and also speaking upon the things that she spoke upon in that presser with a little bit more room to it, right? Appreciate everybody. Let's see
the NFL draft, and we were able to track her down to kick off the commercial-free expressway on the home of America's team here on Sean, RJ, and Roberto. Good morning, Jane. How are you?
Good morning. What's going on?
Yeah.
How was your cell phone yesterday during that press conference and afterwards?
Can y'all hear the audio?
You know what? I think sometimes people are listening to it or they're watching it at home and they think it's like far more contentious than it is. It's not. All I was doing was asking a question I think not only I want to know, but that I constantly get asked from, fans or.
Yeah, that Luka, I lost out on that Luka deal. Yeah. That Luka deal, not trade, but Luka, he went off. I said, God dog, that dang on Luka, boy. I knew it. I'm the reason why the Mavs won, Shoot, every time I go against them or go with them, they win. Every time I go against them, they win. You know how that goes. But when I go with them, boy, they lose, man, for some reason. We put Jane Slater up here. Yeah, put Jane Slater right here as she talk. Let's go.
Or even my own family, or my family are all, Cowboys fans. And the question that I always get is, why does Jerry consistently overpay players? And it's a fair question, right? Because
it's fair.
We've seen them play hardball in the past with guys like, DeMarcus Lawrence and Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott, and ultimately they always end up giving them their contracts. And in a lot of cases, it feels like they overpay. And so, I think as reporters, the only thing you can do is just ask the question instead of pontificate or speculate. And so that's what I did yesterday. And I think a lot of people, the way they heard it or they watched it was like, oh, Jerry and Jane are, no, that's not Jerry. You guys know that. You guys do plenty of radio shows with Jerry. I mean, I think as long as you're always respectful, Jerry's always going to give you an answer. But I do think that maybe the tone would have sounded a little like irritated. I think he's just irritated with the situation himself that the Cowboys, I think, have gotten themselves in over the years. And I'm glad that he brought up the analogy of the credit card, because that has been an analogy that I've been given by multiple people inside the building. And I think for a lot of folks, they think, well, the Cowboys, they just see billion-dollar franchise and money. But Jerry, in recent years, I think hasn't really had the appetite to overspend on coaches or players for that matter. And so what you're seeing here is him trying to show some financial frugality. And I was joking with him yesterday. I've had to learn it at a later age. And it's something that we've killed the Cowboys for years, right? Overpaying players. And he was simply reminding a lot of fans and folks like myself in the media, you guys have killed me in the past for overpaying players, and we're just not going to do that. Unfortunately, I think his history has shown they talk a certain game, as they did with Ezekiel Elliott. Remember, Ezekiel Elliott doesn't deserve Todd Gurley money. Well, he still got it. So we'll have to see what their appetite is for, waiting to see how these things flesh out. And to be fair, they can. Man,
my guy HG said it well, heart over money. Yeah. It's not. The best way I can explain this, and what she's saying too, is not the fact that they are overpaying. It's just that they are so slow with paying. And when it's time for that market to pay, then they had already dissipated all of the things and exhausted everything. Right? So the longer you wait, the more you're going to pay. When they very first started Dak Prescott negotiation, I'm just using him as reference, it was right at 25 million. Then they say, okay, we'll wait a little bit later. Then it went to 30. Why? Because Goff and Wentz got paid 30. And then by the time he played out that year, they put a $30 million, not 30 million, shortchanging the man, a $31 million franchise tag. You can't prorate that money. You can't spread it out. It's a one big hit. So I will agree. To those who say, man, the Cowboys, man, y'all overpaid for Dak Prescott. Yes, you did. Yes. That's not up for debate. You overpaid for Dak Prescott. But he was paid the worth and the value that is worthy for at that time. If you would have went on ahead and paid him when he was getting that doggone conversation, right, and didn't have to bet on himself, you would have got him at 25. And I think that Garoppolo got to 28 or Matt Ryan got to 29 or 30, and that's when everything started to move upwards. That's the only why when we look at these type of situations, we're saying to yourself, stop betting against the man and go ahead and pay the man. But so many people want to argue with that when we are all talking about the same thing. And now you got so many stipulations. You got muddy of the waters. You got all of these things, whereas now you can't even trade. Now you got to sit back and you had to pay them 40. Right? And what everybody was saying at that time, he ain't a Pat Mahomes. Right. Pat Mahomes is 3% of the NFL. Only 3% chance you get a Pat Mahomes, basically. And news flash, there are about 8 to 9 players that's getting paid more than Patrick Mahomes. He's not even the highest paid quarterback. Why? Because they gave him a 10-year contract, and at the time on the initial signing, he was one of the highest paid quarterbacks. It's just that he got a 10-year deal. And with that 10-year deal, they can prorate, slide money here. He got bonuses. If Pat ever, I'm not going to say wood, if he ever get hurt, then he lose out on a lot of stuff, right? Because he got accelerators and stuff like that. But as he look at it, hey, this is more money than I ever seen before. And on top of that, hey, I can do a little help for the team. I don't have to worry about getting back in front of the market. But still, you got to pay me though. Right? And to be fair, to everything, Pat Mahomes come from a whole different life than a Dak Prescott growing up out of a trailer. I don't think, look, I don't think Pat Mahomes been inside a trailer growing up out of that. I don't think that he had to worry about, hey, mama got to work extra so that I can get these cliques, or mama have to work extra. Yeah, he probably grew up in a whole different type of environment. Had everything. And I'm not saying that that's the reason why he's great, because we all blessed with 24 hours a day. But you can't look at one situation and say, hey, this person should take this, and the other situation is not the same. It's not the same. Let's listen to more what they have to say.
Can wait with Micah Parsons, right? They can wait with CeeDee Lamb, and Dak Prescott is under contract, so they technically don't have to do anything.
Well, they can wait, but, that's why I loved your follow-up question of, okay, if you wait in the National Football League, the price goes up. So what did you make of their response to the question and their philosophy of waiting when Jerry says, well, I want to see more leaves fall? It's called option quarterback. What did you make of their response and their philosophy? Because to me, you just end up costing yourself more.
That's what I heard. But I think what they're essentially looking to do is, I think Justin Jefferson, they're waiting for that leaf to fall. Like, what's that number going to be? I think my only pushback was, why don't you set the number? Go back to the player, make him feel respected with his APY, and then just throw the guaranteed money at him. Right. It feels simple to us, but again, I don't have the checkbook, nor do I have the pen. But that's simply where my questions were coming from, is why allow another team to set the market now? Because, remember when we were all scoffing over Dak Prescott and $40 million?
Yeah.
Y'all are going to hate it when you hear what the eye-watering number is going to be for, Dak here in a little bit, Or I could see Dak, and we've seen it before, pulling the Kirk Cousins. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of fans, you might criticize him for some of his postseason success or lack thereof.
Yeah.
But quarterbacks don't grow on trees. And I feel like he's done a really good job for this franchise. And, yeah, you do have to put the pieces around him. And, unfortunately, the Cowboys haven't done a great job of that at all times. Although I would argue, I think they really did try to go all in last year, which is essentially what Steven said. Look, we won the offseason, but we didn't win the postseason. So,
and I love that statement right here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be sure to do me a huge favor. Hit the like, share this content. I know, it's the off season, but if you guys like what you're hearing right now, hit the like button, share this content, and let people know where to go. And with my Facebook people at, I see y'all. Okay, good. Winning the off season is subjective. It's very subjective to say, yeah, we won the off season. We were talking about, like, for example, is Stephon Gilmore still available on the streets? Just give me a yes or no, right? And even with the time set with Brandon Cooks, he was coming off of one of his worst seasons. and then he head into the Cowboys season, yes, he was a situation that was a whole lot better than our previous wide receiving groups. But just by signing those two is not saying that, hey, all of a sudden, yay, hey, man, we won the offseason. No. Because you could have got more. You should have did more. You see, the thing is, when you're going into battle and war, you want to make sure that you got all of your items in check. It's the time to use the machete. It's the time to use the machine gun. It's the time to even use the pocket knife. But if you only got one of those things and not the other, hey, you didn't win. Depth means everything. We got depleted inside. Jonathan Hankins, yes, he was long in the tooth. And yes, shout out to my dog, Jonathan Hankins. But him and Mozzie, we needed more and more resources, more and more help right there inside. Not Parsons, but Pollard coming off of an injury, we needed somebody else to help out that when he had slow starts. We depleted. We were razor blade thin at linebacker. There shouldn't have been a linebacker my size out there on the field. No way. There shouldn't have been a situation and scenario that we look back at and we said, hey, in the offseason, with all of our linebackers, with all our resources, we okay. No. We look good on paper. So to declare that you won the offseason, that's very subjective. That's very subjective. Winning would be, okay, all right, I'm going to go out here and get known commodities. Somebody that I know for sure that can step up and show up big in the postseason. Someone that I know for sure I can lean on. Someone I know for sure. Yeah, the Cowboys had 9 All-Pros. Now, name me the All-Pros that showed up in this postseason game. Name me one. Name me one of those All-Pros. I'm waiting. You had all of your resources, all of those things that you said that you had, not showing up because you were depleted in the worst area, in the middle of the field. You was like a workout guy that didn't work out on his cores. Skip leg day. Yeah, he big up top, but he got doggone razor blade thin legs. I got my guy. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Thank you all for jumping in. Glenn Capers, appreciate you. He says, why can't the Cowboys admit that they want to reset the clock on a quarterback contract through the draft? Nothing wrong with that. But why not be honest about it? Right. Yeah. Because ultimately, and I give it what you're saying, they say, man, I want Dak Prescott to be here. But what speaks louder than words? Can y'all put that down? Yeah. What speaks louder than words? You hear people all the time, yeah, I want to graduate top of my class. I want to be in shape. Right? But they're eating the oodles and noodles. They're eating a whole box of donuts. Yeah, I want abs. Yeah. You want a lot of things. But are you doing the things to get you there? I want Dak Prescott. Yeah. But what are your actions? If you wanted him, you would have did it right before the free agency period kicked open. Then that way you would have been able to add more and more weapons, more and more pieces, and you wouldn't have been able to talk back and forth and going over this and that. I want to be successful. What are you doing to get there? You can't be sleeping in the bed to get there. But when people say, hey, if this is what you want, this is what you got to do to go get it. He even talks about that biblically. That rich young ruler was like, hey, man, I want to walk with you. I want to ride with you. I want to be with you. I'm seeing how everybody gravitate to you, and I'm seeing how all what you are doing in all your splendor. Yeah, I want that. Yeah, I want that. And then he said, hey, stop what you're doing, give up all your riches, and come follow me. Yeah. I got to give up my Rolls Royce. I got to give up my Ferrari, my Bugatti. Modern day terms, I got to give up Shanika with them. No. I don't want all that. I thought we could still do both things. Nah. You got to give up. You got to give up her. You got to give up that car, and you got to stop what you're doing and come follow me. Nah, I'm good. When people start saying the things that you need to do in order to get what you want, people then say, you know what? Hey, I can say it, but I definitely don't want to do it. Let me know if I'm lying. AG says barbecue ain't cheap. Yeah. Shoot. Can't give up no barbecue, right? Right? Come on with it.
You know, you'll hear them. We've all done this long enough, guys. It's a 24/7, 365 job, and they're always trying to make deals. But, you know, some of this is also the players. The players have to come to the table, too. And, you know, I think a lot of them are looking to get paid, as all of us are, when our contracts are up.
Jane Slater, NFL Network, joins us here, 105 through the Fan. Around the rest of the league, is this a common thing where teams just wait and just to, you know, kind of push things down the road and not sign their guys as soon as they possibly can, or the Cowboys kind of outliers?
I mean, at least from my observation covering the league and a lot of these teams, they do feel like they play the waiting game more so than other teams. Now, with that being said, look at the Saints, right? When they had, that's another team I cover, Michael Thomas, they went and got him the highest paid wide receiver in the league, and he had the one good year. You know, it's just some of these contracts, when you've overpaid these guys because you are worried, it sometimes does burn teams. So I understand the waiting game sometimes, but it always feels like these contracts, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, like I'm open to, you know, feedback here, but it feels like they always wait till we get to training camp before we get these things done.
Yeah. And not to cut her off with that, but, you know, I have to say this. At the time the Saints paid Michael Thomas, it's not like he was Michael Gallup, right? It's not like, and that's the price of doing business, though. You win some, you lose some. You win some, you lose some. And that's just the price of doing business. You see, they don't have, in the Saints land, they don't have the luxury of sitting on their hands, right? They still looking for that next Drew Brees there. They went and got Jameson Winston. They didn't win. Look, I blame Sean. Sean Payton? Sean Payton burned that damn thing to the ground. I blame him. He was doing some crazy stuff. He was paying that running back over there to play quarterback. You know, I forgot his name, but it goes back. And then they went and got a guy that everybody was banging on the table saying he's better than Dak. Was it Carr brother? They went and got him. They was trying, right? But that's just the price of doing business. The craziest thing of it all, and I'm definitely not saying that they are better. No, I ain't going to say that. I ain't going to even say that. But that's just how it goes, man. That's just how it goes, bro. But, hey, shout out to Marshawn Lattimore. If you ever want to come to Dallas, man, we'll work out something.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times that's been the case. Like with the, I mean, specifically, they got offensive line deals done then. They got Diggs done around then. Zach Martin. Yeah, I mean, it's been a common thing for them. Yeah. Now, Jane, one of the things that I'm interested in is we've got clearly the idea of, you know, the Cowboys on their side, and they're playing this waiting game and how they're approaching things like that. Do you have any sense that from Dak's side, is there any fatigue growing here? Like, would it just, when we start wondering about the future of a potential, like, divorce, do you think that any of those feelings reside on Dak's side as well? Of like, hey, I don't know how much I love doing this, you know, game anymore over here.
Break it down, Jane.
Here's what I will say about Dak, and I think Jerry hit on this yesterday. the respect that he has from the way he handles all of his business. Like, you're not going to get a lot of leaks from Dak camp, specifically not from Todd France. He doesn't really negotiate these deals the way I've seen some players in the past do it in the media, right? And as for Dak, I always appreciate that he does things the right way. I mean, he's not going to be – I'd be shocked if he was a camp holdout. He's not that guy. And what I appreciate about Dak is I think he's got enough confidence in himself that if it doesn't happen here, it'll happen somewhere else. This is a kid who grew up in Louisiana that dreams of being a Dallas Cowboy. It's been an improbable story of a guy drafted in the 4th round, who was behind Jamil Showers on the depth chart is always the fascinating thing to me. People forget that Jamil was higher on the depth chart, behind Kellen Moore, and then switched to defense, and then he was gone. And so that, Dak's made, a lot of money and had a lot of success here in Dallas. Of course, he just had a kid, and I know that he's ingrained in the city. But I do think all of us privately, like within our own 4 walls, would probably get frustrated that, like, look, I've never been an issue for you. I do things the right way. I mean, you've seen that guy walk in the room and represent the Cowboys. You couldn't want more from a quarterback, in my opinion, looking from the outside and looking at some of these other franchises. But I do believe that he has enough moxie and confidence in himself that he sees what Kirk Cousins did. And that's why I tell, people, you guys can, it's kind of like with Romo, you bash them and then you kind of miss them when they're gone. But crazier things can happen, right? We didn't think when we were heading into Romo's final season, we never thought that was going to be Romo's final season. And we certainly never thought when they picked Dak that we would be here, almost 9 years later talking about this contract this way. So, I mean, look, crazy things can happen. Trey Lance could develop into that guy. I don't know. But sitting here right now, Dak feels like a really good option for you.
No doubt. She said a mouthful there. Yeah, you're not going to squeeze a lot out of Dak Prescott. The dude is, he got that PhD stuff, so he's like trying to move a little bit ahead of you. You can rattle him a little bit. You can tell he'll start talking and he'll stand on his tippy toes. I watch his expressions and he'll give you that stare. And if you ever talk to him off camera, he's a gangster a little bit. Hey, he will, get gritty with you like that. And if you want to squeeze anything, you probably had to get it by third party via, Cecil Prescott, or Tad Prescott. You got to squeeze it out of them, or I forgot their cousin that do a lot of good stuff. So you got to do it that way to get things out of Dak Prescott. Now, granted, you always got to have a contingency plan. You always got to have a plan B, a plan C. And the Cowboys, to me, like coming off of that 2000, I'm going back to 14. Coming off of that year, all that offseason, they did try to rectify some things because our defense was just plain flat out terrible, right? So in 15, they made sure that they got some things going. But what came in the way was the wrong time to pick a fight. And timing been the issue with the Cowboys. They said, okay, DeMarco Murray, we don't need you no more, right? We done with you. We're not going to pay a certain kind of caliber of money to a running back, right? And that stuff right there hurt us on a whole different level because now we're talking about chemistry. Dez Bryant, it was the wrong time to fight with Dez. It would have been a perfect time to say, hey, man, coming off of that year, get out of your feelings, Cowboys. Get out of your feelings and go ahead and just say whatever he wanted at the time, maneuver some things and keep those big three there together. Dez, Murray, and Tony. Because what happened here is you begin to say to yourself, hey, this guy that we drafted said, hey, they left a lot of meat on the bone, and a lot of time people were still in their feelings that DeMarco Murray fumbled that ball in Green Bay. And then they went in with this mindset saying, okay, we'll let Murray run elsewhere. We went into 2015 without a pass protector I forgot number 21's name, but he whiffed on the doggone block that Jordan Hicks came off the edge, and he ran off into the flats. All he had to do was chip him one good time. And now all of a sudden you got your quarterback out there with a shattered collarbone, right? Broken into so many pieces. I think we started off 2-0 or something like that season. We were getting into a pace and a rhythm. And then you went and he held so many back and forthness with Dez Bryant. Hey, he didn't get a chance to get his right nutrition. He going back and forth, fighting over contract. And then one thing led to another. I think he broke his pinky toe or something like that. Joseph Randolph is his name. Appreciate you, Rico. It's a long story, but this is how we handled those situations, and it came back to bite us. It came back to bite us. We only won 4 games that season. And the craziest thing, our running game was top 3 in the National Football League, and the dang on defense finally stood tall. I think the defense was still top. The defense was still top in 2015. All we needed to do is take 2015 defense and move it to the doggone 2014. I can't make this stuff up. We get one thing going and don't get the other thing going because we got so many people in the mix, in the fray. Look at it. Boy, we went toe-to-toe with the doggone Seattle Seahawks that year. You know, lost to them by, I think the final score was like 9-6, but we had no offense because Romo wasn't there. So that's what I'm saying, that the Cowboys picked the wrong time to start fights with their players, and it blows up the continuity. I'm quite sure that collarbone that was shattered to a million pieces wouldn't have been there because Murray, one thing we know for sure, he would have blocked the old dude coming off the edge. But that's me putting the toothpaste back into the tube for those who can think otherwise.
Slater.
And, you know, there's another thing that hit me, though. It seems as if, though, every time we play Green Bay, boy, in the playoffs or what have you, we lose everything. Green Bay and the 49ers being our nemesis, man. There's some type of voodoo curse that's going around with the Green Bay and the 49ers. Can we play another team in the playoffs, you know? Outside of the Rams, too. We can throw the Rams in there, too. Can we play another team, man? Because we lose everything after we play Green Bay. We start all confidence and everything else. I blame Vince Lombardi. I think Vince Lombardi is pulling some things up there in the high heavens. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? He making some stuff, put some curse on us, man. Because every time we in shambles after we lose to their team. Yeah.
Here on the D&M Leasing Hotline, speaking of agents, Adam Schefter with the info about 30 minutes ago that Mike McCarthy has hired Don Yee to represent him. Jane Yee, as you know, represents Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton, Tom Brady, and Brian Broaddus.
Brian Broaddus.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Don Yee's a powerful player in this business. I do find that very interesting. I hadn't seen that yet.
Yes. Well.
Yeah, I mean, look, what are you going to need an agent for when you're not going to have another contract negotiation?
Jeez,
I don't understand.
Getting canceled on Fridays.
Sorry.
Jerry was pretty direct at the end yesterday, Jane. Like, I don't want to blink. There is no blink in saying that Dak Prescott is the quarterback that we want. Do you believe that, and that right now this just is a negotiation, or do you think there's any more?
I got a super chat from Owens. It says if Dak Prescott was to get on the yacht, eat some nachos, and drink beer with the Joneses, he will be all right. But he won't. He want that problem. He don't want that problem. Yeah. Yeah, I will be the most crooked owner in the league. They kick me up out of these conversations. Because if I want to win, I won't be this long without winning. I would have been like, hey, you go down to this street, turn down that road, and there's a chest full of money. You know, I didn't say it. Somebody else said it. You just go in that house, and there'll be some money for you. You know, I'll figure out I'll get everybody I want. They be like, how this dude? And we be signing NDAs and everything. I'll have a full-fledged coaching staff of the best impossible. I wouldn't have no Scott McCurleys out there. It would be like trying to get into Princeton and Harvard over here, even to just be on the coaching staff. You would have to have a certain standard to even coach here in Dallas. Yeah, you had to have a certain resume. Man, hey, can't get in. It'll be strict. I'm like, God, dog, man, it's hard to coach over there in Cowboys land. You got to have a doggone impeccable record. Well, hey, that's just how it goes. We declare and we decree the bless over here. But speaking of that, man, I got to leave, man. I got so much on the table that I got to do. But, man, the Cowboys, I looked at the time and said, God, I got to go. The Cowboys themselves just got to just hold those standards even within the confines of their own organization. It won't be no first-time coaching on me, on my watch. There's no salary cap as related to coaching. Shoot. They've been trying to make up a rule. Yeah, they've been trying to make up a rule to stop me. Yeah. Man, Law, man, that owner over there, he getting all of the best coaches, man. Man. He done cornered the market. He done paid Duke Manyweather, and he can only train Cowboy players. Yeah. Yeah, he paid Duke off, man. Duke can't get other guys no more. Other guys that line longer than Shaq feet trying to get in. Yeah. That Law ruthless over there, man. He cornered the market, man. You can't even learn no extra stuff. Shout out to Jose. He said, Law kept Slater on the screen for the views. Yeah. Shout out to Slater. Pretty lady. And beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Yep. I hope you guys tune in. Appreciate everybody. The Cowboys, at the end of the day, they got to rectify some of those wrongs. Owens, on my way out, says, and I forgot, he doesn't want to be one of Jerry's sons. So in other words, Owens, he said, I ain't going to those Diddy parties. No way, Jose. I'm not finna be sold off for cheap. We doing the watch party 1409. It's going to be in Arlington, Shakerton's. Be sure to check us out there. Be sure to participate at the draft show. It's going to be a party, y'all. It's going to be great time, great food, great drinks, and great opportunities to mix and mingle with some of the great content creators. We're going to have Dak Attack there, Boss Cowboys Sports, the OC, my guy Ray Podcast, Candy. We're going to have a whole bunch of other people, man. George Teague said he's going to come into the building. Philip Tanner, salute to him as well. I might bite Jason Garrett. Come on down, Jason Garrett. How you doing, guys? But if you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad that you don't get tired, and it makes you hold everything tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you'll gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, or plan to lose all terror of your mind, if you would simply just simply go after the thing you want with all of your capacity, strength, and sagacity, with faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity. If neither cold, poverty, or famish, or the fame, or the sickness of your body or brain can turn you away from the things you want, if dogged and grim and besieged and beset, with the help of Almighty Cowboy Nation and everyone that's watching, you will get it. Let's go.
Get your up there, contain the damn ball. This is why we do it.
We're going to have Mike Zimmer in the house, too.
Let's go.
Let's
We're
go,
too
man.
damn soft.
Hey.
I just hate mistakes. I hate mistakes.
We ain't soft no more. We got you, man. We got you, man. One love, DC for life. Mama, I love you. Peace. We out. And remember, y'all say it with me under your own breath. And remember, You're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go.
FBI, open up!
Hey, Jerry, I'm trying to leave.
Give me my theme music.